My guest tonight might be the best actor in the world. This is a conversation we have in our house often. She has an Oscar and 3 Emmys and could very well get another for her role as the costumed vigilante Sister Night in the great HBO show Watchmen. Please say hello to Regina King. Hi, Regina.
Hey, Jimmy. Wow, what an intro. Thank you.
I believe it. I got to tell you, I have this conversation. Well, my wife and I have it with each other, and we both agree, so it really doesn't go very far. But we do think you are just unbelievably great in every single thing that you do. But before we talk about that stuff, because I know you are an LA native, right? You grew up here. This is your town, and obviously you've been paying attention to everything that's been going on. How are you feeling right now?
I think I'm finally starting to pull myself up by my bootstraps. Everything has been super heavy, like as it is for everyone right now. But I've finally gotten to a place where I'm clear as to what it is that I need to do to make changes. I feel like the protesting that's happening is necessary. We wouldn't have probably these most recent charges that just came up against the other 3 officers would not have happened without the protests. But still, we have officers in Louisville who have not been charged for Breonna Taylor's murder. And there are so many other cases like that. And I'm just convinced that the only way we're going to change is to get out and vote, and not just in the presidential elections, but on the local levels. And that means voting every year. So I've just kind of been inspired to start educating myself, speaking to my friends like Stephanie James of The Collective and Melina Abdullah of Black Lives Matter, and just giving myself civics education of finding out who candidates are, who can actually change policy. Because at the end of the day, I feel like the only way we can make changes to these systemic problems is to make systematic changes. And that's change the laws. And to change the laws, we have to change the lawmakers. So that's where I am right now.
And to change our way of thinking, I think, just in general, is another thing that we obviously have to work on. Shaquille O'Neal was on the show last night, and I'd ask him about his sons. He's got sons, and I asked him if he had this talk with them where he explains what it means to be a young black man when it comes to dealing with the police and when it comes to dealing with people in general. And I was wondering, you have a son. How old is your son?
My son is 24.
24.
My son is 24, yeah.
So
and
have you had this conversation with him?
Yes. I mean, I think in most of homes, black homes, it's not just a conversation. It's an ongoing conversation, and it never stops. You get to a place, especially when your children are at an age where they are looked at as adults, and the anger that they have is it just compounds every time something like this happens, and another moment that's telling them that they're not worthy, they're not valuable, their lives aren't valuable once they walk outside of the comfort of their homes. The conversation shifts every time, because you have to find a way to support their feelings and make sure that you are letting them know that you hear them and that you do mirror the same sentiment, but you don't want them to do anything that's going to put themselves in a situation that they may not come back home. They may not talk to you again. So it's a constant conversation, always.
Did your son understand it right away? Did he know what you were referring to when you started this conversation with him, or was it a surprise?
I think he was, our conversations really became more They got deeper once we were when President Obama was running for his first term, and just the campaigning that I was doing. You know, your kids are seeing what you do, so the
Right.
passion that I was having behind there, I think that's what was making his comprehension with the conversations deeper then, and it really hit home, I think, when he was learning to drive. And that's when the conversation shifts again, because you kind of have to make them very clear about what they're supposed to do when they're out there in that car by themselves, and
Right.
more than likely are going to get pulled over just because you're a young black man.
I have to say, it's one of the things that makes me feel very ignorant because I don't think I was fully aware of this before this month. I mean, I'd heard this, but I did not know that it was a rite of passage in an African American family, that along with using your turn signal, you would have to instruct them on how to behave with the police.
Oh
It's
yeah,
amazing.
I mean you know, I have a lot of friends who are white, and our sons are the same age, and we'd be having conversations about how is it going when you're teaching your kid, how's it going with Brandon in driving, how's it going with Ian in driving, and one of my closest girlfriends, Patty, and her son Brandon and Ian have been best friends since they were 5 years old. And, you know, she got really emotional when my conversation with Ian and the driving experience, when I was telling her about it, and it just never even dawned on her.
Yeah.
And the reality that she doesn't have to have that same conversation, it, you know, brought a lot of stuff up for her. So, you know, it's good that you know.
I'm glad that I
Now.
know now. We're talking to Regina King. We'll be right back. We are back with Regina King. And Regina, I don't know if you, I love this show, Watchmen. I think it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's on HBO. It's on DVD and Blu-ray if you still have one of those things right now. And your character, Sister Night, not only are there moments and themes in this show that really apply now more than they did a year ago when the show came out, but also your mask has become something of a phenomenon now with COVID-19.
I mean, my girlfriend Patty sent me that. Was funny, that picture that you have up like a month ago, and said, "Who knew that your costume was going to be our grocery store attire?"
It's
You know,
crazy.
like, yeah, it
Do
is
people ever
crazy.
spot you with the mask on and make that connection?
That is the funny thing right there. I think because of Watchmen coming out and being out not too long ago, people are looking for my eyes. So I feel like I'm recognized even more now in the store with the mask on.
You know, it's funny you
Crazy.
say that because I will tell you from my perspective, no one ever, in fact, there's a store that I go into regularly. I know the guy there. He never recognized me. He now knows my mask. But it's interesting that you would be more, you're the only person in Hollywood who is now more recognizable as a result of the virus. Well, it's really great to talk to you. I loved the show. If you're looking for something to watch, whenever people ask me, what should I watch? Watch Watchmen. It's a great show. Damon Lindelof, Regina King. And every night I've asked my guests to pick a charity. Regina, you picked Black Lives Matter. Great charity to give to. And I don't think we need to say much more about that than now is the time. If you ever wanted to support
Yes.
Black Lives Matter, go to the web address on your screen. Regina King. Thank you, Regina.
Jimmy Kimmel Live. This is ridiculous.